These are the Nike Zoomfly 6, representing a lighter, more responsive and more flexible shoe, suitable even for intermediate amateur runners. As always, let's start with the specifications to understand it better. This is a shoe that weighs 255 grams in US size 9, while the US size 10 weighs 265 grams. It has an 8 millimeters drop with a 42 millimeters stack height at the heel. Yes, you heard that right, and 34 millimeters at the forefoot. This is the Eliud version, which I purchased from Top 4 Running. Here are the 10 things I liked about it, the 2 things I would have changed, and most importantly, who this shoe is suitable for. Comparing it to the Zoomfly 5, the previous model, there's simply no comparison. Full disclosure, I have run over 150 kilometers with these shoes because they can also be used for slower runs. As I mentioned, I purchased them myself, and these are, of course, my personal opinions. Let's dive into the review. In this review, I'll also explain the differences compared to the previous model, as well as compared to the Alphafly and Vaporfly 3, which are shoes typically used by amateur and advanced runners for marathons. I absolutely loved the upper, which, with its double-layer woven mesh, offers incredible comfort and excellent breathability. It's lightweight enough to make running enjoyable not only in winter, but also in summer. The flat laces are very thin and ensure a precise fit, which also helps to avoid specific pressure points on the top of the foot, as the tension is evenly distributed. In terms of sizing, I recommend sticking to your usual Nike size. This is a US 9, and it offers a decent amount of space in the forefoot. In fact, it is slightly wider than a typical streamlined shoe, and the upper volume is also greater. This makes the shoe not only fast, but also incredibly comfortable. I particularly love the tongue, which is very thin, yet well padded. On the inner side, there are some cryptic writings, clearly meant to emphasize how thoughtfully designed this shoe is. I appreciated how easy it is to lace up, and the sturdy eyelets make adjusting the laces to your preference a breeze. What I love the most is the breathability of this shoe. Thanks to its double-layered upper, it can be comfortably worn both in summer and winter. Whether your feet tend to overheat or if you're particularly sensitive to cold, this shoe works well across all seasons. I also think the heel is very well designed, with Nike's signature curved structure and a fairly rigid heel counter, especially in the lower part. If you press on it, it feels solid, and there's a soft internal padding that provides exceptional comfort and ensures excellent heel lockdown even at higher speeds without causing any issues. It's interesting to note that the shoe's padding in the heel isn't just on the inside, but also on the outside, which could even serve as a stress relief feature. 2 fun facts. The tongue is gusseted so it doesn't move around, even if you try to make it shift intentionally. And there's a reflective element on the forefoot area that could potentially help you run more safely. Though, of course, this depends on where you run. One of the standout features of this shoe is the use of ZoomX foam in a softer, more comfortable and accommodating version. This makes the shoe suitable even for slow runs. Compared to the previous Zoomfly 5 model, it offers a completely different sensation. In fact, it allows you to run comfortably at 7 minutes per kilometer or even slower, perhaps providing an even more pleasant experience than the Invincible Run 3 as it's lighter. The dedicated amateur runner who follows all the videos knows that the previous version, the Zoomfly 5, was very rigid. In this case, however, we're talking about a truly flexible shoe. The carbon fiber plate is lighter, still called flight plate, but at the end of the day, not all plates are the same. Thanks to the soft foam and a stack height of 42 millimeters at the heel, you'll enjoy a pleasant running experience. This is further enhanced by the ample space both in the forefoot and the heel, providing a more accommodating fit. I was also surprised by the durability of this shoe. The ZoomX foam, paradoxically, could allow you to run comfortably for up to 600-700 kilometers. The plate isn't overly rigid, so you won't have any issues using it for slower runs. However, it's worth evaluating your needs, as this might not be the fastest shoe, depending on the runner's goals. By the way, it would be great if you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest reviews on everything related to the running world. Plenty of content is coming in the next few days, so stay tuned. An aspect I find particularly valuable for amateur runners is that this shoe is, relatively speaking, quite stable. This is thanks to the ample space in the heel, but especially in the forefoot. Even if you have a slightly unconventional stride, you may benefit from the fact that the heel counter provides additional stability. The carbon fiber plate can also help you run faster, while still offering good stability for amateur runners with a relatively neutral stride. It's worth noting that the insole is not removable, which reflects a more traditional design choice. If you're a runner who struggles with stability issues, this might not be the best shoe for you, but there are other options available. As for the outsole, it's definitely improved compared to the previous model. The traction is excellent, thanks to the lugs that cover almost the entire surface except for the medial area. I also appreciated that even for runners who tend to drag their feet during slower runs, the lugs remain durable and don't wear out quickly. Additionally, during direction changes or when running on light gravel paths, the shoe provides a good level of grip and a confident feel. I've also tested it several times in Belgium in the rain, and I didn't experience any issues at all. Additionally, keep in mind that there is a hole in the medial part of the shoe which reveals the carbon fiber plate. More interestingly, it features a psychedelic design with small grooves inside, making the shoe visually appealing. Speaking of aesthetics, Nike is of course the queen of colorways, and in this case, the Elude version looks fantastic. There are also some interesting details on the heel, which is beveled and features small wave patterns on the lateral side. There's also a hole, which, as I mentioned, is likely just a design choice. The same applies to the rear of the shoe. From my perspective, you could even wear this shoe for casual outings, like going for an happy hour, although there are probably better options for that. In terms of cushioning, this shoe offers excellent shock absorption, even for runners weighing around 80 kilograms, making it a solid choice. However, for running at faster paces, the Invincible Run 3 might be a better option. I appreciated the fact that its weight of 255 grams is relatively low, which means you can also use it for slower runs without any discomfort. When it comes to distance, this shoe is versatile enough to handle not just park runs or 10 kilometers races, but also long runs, even structured ones, lasting 2 or 2.5 hours. You won't face any issues thanks to its broad outsole and cushioning, which is both comfortable and more stable than I had initially expected before purchasing the shoe. What I particularly loved was its versatility. This shoe can be used for paces ranging from 7 minutes per kilometer to as fast as 3 minutes per kilometer, thanks to the responsiveness of the ZoomX foam. Don't think that the carbon plate will significantly alter your running mechanics. It mainly adds stability, as I've mentioned several times. Of course, for slow running, there might be better options available, but the comfort provided by this shoe's midsole cushioning makes it a great choice for a variety of training scenarios. However, it's not all sunshine and roses. It really depends on what you're looking for, and if you know what you're buying, you can make an informed choice. First of all, from my point of view, the laces are perhaps not as premium as those on the Alphafly or Vaporfly models. For a shoe in this category, it might have been better to include something of higher quality. On the other hand, the carbon fiber plate in this shoe bends quite easily, which might be a concern for some runners if you plan to use it specifically for racing. There may be better options out there. However, if you're aiming to run a marathon in around 3 hours and 30 minutes, this could be a winning choice, as it's very soft and also reasonably stable. When comparing it to all of Nike's racing shoes, the Zoomfly 6 is certainly lighter than the Invincible Run 3, allowing for a more comfortable and pleasant run. That said, I would recommend the Invincible Run 3 for slower paces. On the other hand, when compared to the Vaporfly 3, the latter is undoubtedly a better shoe, much lighter, much more enjoyable to use, but specifically designed for running at very high speeds. Finally, compared to the Alphafly 3, we're talking about something entirely different. Thanks to the 4-foot pods, the Alphafly 3 is designed to help you achieve your personal best. The Zoomfly 6, however, is more of an intermediate option, ideal if you're trying carbon-plated shoes for the first time, but aren't ready for something as aggressive. In conclusion, the Zoomfly 6 is a complete departure from the previous model. The foam is softer, and the plate is less rigid than what we saw just 24 months ago. What I love most is that this shoe can be used at virtually any pace. It's incredibly versatile. I would even go so far as to suggest it as your one and only running shoe, which might sound like heresy to some. Keep in mind, though, that the carbon plate is primarily designed to provide stability. That said, I would also suggest considering the Invincible Run 3 for slower training runs, or choosing a faster shoe if you're planning to race. If your goal is a marathon, the Alphafly 3 might be your best bet. In the meantime, stay strong, keep running, and I'll see you next time. Now, as always, I'm off to feed the rabbit. Bye!